In today's video, we're going to be focused on the World War Hulk movie that is coming to the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the next few years. And then at the end of the video, we're going to go over some other tidbits. The information is coming from the usual sources: Twitter sphere, scoopers, leaks, and them kind of stuff. So, what is good, YouTube? Warstu here. If you are new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel, DC, pop culture based videos we do here on the daily. It really does help the channel if you would subscribe, add a comment down below, hit the like button to help the video get pushed out to more people. Now, if you want to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice, check us out on Instagram at Warstu. If you could check us out on Twitter at WarstuG. We have like 10, 12 followers over there, so I will get back to you if you hit me up in the DMs over there. Right, let's get into this video. So ever since Avengers Endgame, well, realistically before that, everyone has wanted a savage version of Hulk. We haven't really had one since, I guess you could say, Thor 3, Thor Ragnarok, when they were on Skaar, and Hulk got into fight with Thor, and Thor literally dominated so easily, which never really would be the case. So, we didn't cover this story, but a few weeks back, it was revealed that Bruce Banner's role in She-Hulk would reveal a game-changing storyline and twist for Mr. Bruce Banner himself. We here at the channel cannot wait to see Jennifer Walters' first appearance in the MCU. But it was revealed from the Twitter user who we've used a bunch of times here on this channel, My Time to Shine, tweeted out the following: She-Hulk will result in Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner leaving Earth at the end of She-Hulk. Casey Walsh also chimed in with this and said, by suggesting that Bruce voyage is a father-son road trip. Walsh tweets lines up with everything else that's been on the internet to do with She-Hulk leak when it comes to what happens at the end of it, which began circulating in late 2021 that claims the series will introduce Hulk's son. Interesting. Assuming these leaks are correct, what causes Bruce to go get his son at the end of She-Hulk? We don't know, but this is freaking fascinating because it's gonna lead to Mr. Well, not really Mr., but World War Hulk. In theory. Only in theory. So, Marvel is planning to introduce Hulk's son, aka Skaar. In the comics, Skaar is the first child of the Hulk. Interesting, very interesting. A member of the Shadow People who the Hulk meets and marries whilst ruling over the planet Skaar, aka Skaar, has essentially all the same powers as his father and is capable of assuming a human form through his transformation back into his green self. Whenever he becomes too angry, just like his father, he alternates between being stubborn, a rage tyrant, and a powerful superhero. Skaar also grew up in a brutal environment, which means he may have a very different outlook on life. When Mark Ruffalo Bruce Banner comes to find him after She-Hulk, it is possible, for instance, that Skaar could attempt to challenge his father's status as one of the galaxy's mightiest warriors. It's hard to know at the moment, but considering the rumor that Marvel is already actively developing a World War Hulk movie, there's certainly the chance that Skaar and Bruce meeting won't be entirely pleasant. Additionally, it's worth saying that She-Hulk is rumored to introduce multiple new Hulk-like characters into the MCU, introducing and including Thunderbolt Ross, William Hulk as the Hulk. If that's the case, then it's entirely possible She-Hulk will end with Bruce going into space to find his son in the hopes of Skaar helping in the fight against all the new bad Hulks that have began to run rampant on Earth. And to be honest, guys, that sounds like a pretty interesting storyline. Now, the next bit is actually coming from 4chan itself, and the potential release date would line up. So allegedly the release date would be 2024 to 2025, then 2025 to 2026. Now it says it will be in two parts, whilst adopting a two-part style almost like Civil War 2. The first film will be a Hulk-centric movie with him exploring space, finding Skaar, and eventually turning into a world-breaker friggin' Hulk, which is going to be absolutely insane if that is what's going to happen. Part 2 would potentially feature multiple MCU heroes as they decide whether to kill Hulk or keep him alive. This eventually leads to a fight between two different sides, eventually coming together to kill the Hulk. The heroes featured would be not Warstu, She-Hulk, presumably, Captain Marvel, Captain America, Sam Wilson, Monica, Doctor Strange, Thor, but Jane Foster version of Thor, Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, Yelena, War Machine, Spider-Man, Songbird, which That character hasn't even been introduced yet. Mr. Fantastic, Miss Marvel, Daredevil, Cersei, Black Knight, and some other heroes will die during the fight, likely Hawkeye and War Machine. Now, this is a very interesting concept. And before you say it's not true, it's not true. Tobey and Andrew. Literally every rumor for Doctor Strange 2 in some capacity is real. And I'm not going to say I was the first channel to talk about it, but I did make a video after Avengers Endgame saying that World War Hulk would be the most likely scenario and the most likely case avenue of where Marvel would go with the Hulk character. But obviously, presumably, Hulk gets his arm back properly in She-Hulk based on the most recent trailer, but we don't know how. But we didn't actually know about the She-Hulk series, did we, until after Endgame. So I do find it really cool that they potentially could be doing a version of World War Hulk. Also in the news. So careful for spoilers. I don't want to ruin your life. This could be true. It might not be true, but let's talk about it anyway. Secret Invasion will get a second season. Kind of obvious, just like the information that came out today about Loki season 2 shooting in England in the summer. I think it's pointless doing a standalone season for any of these shows unless it's just a one-off story. WandaVision could technically get a second season, but that is a kind of setup for one season. So if they are just going to do one season, then it's cool. But I do believe if Disney is trying to build a streaming platform, then they should have multiple seasons on everything they're releasing. So the next one is something we've already been over previously. Russell Crowe will play Zeus. This one keeps coming up, but will be killed by Gore the God Butcher. That would make sense. I can't see Russell Crowe playing Zeus long term in the MCU. Monica Rambeau and Brie Larson will appear in Miss Marvel towards the end. Okay, really interesting. John Kay will appear in Doctor Strange 2, but as Captain America variant. Now this is interesting because I have it on a very good source. A very good source told me that John Kay was actually going to be appearing as Mr. Fantastic, but also appearing as a variant of Captain America. But with these kind of informations, it's really hard to vet with multiple sources. So it might be true, it might not be true. So there's a bunch of stuff coming up that we've been over, but we might as well throw it in this video. So Multiverse of Madness, the original Reed Richards is going to appear. Patrick Stewart as Professor X. Tobey will also be back for another go as Peter Parker. Interesting. He's going to have no lines. Wesley Snipes is appearing as Blade. He's always wanted to come back. I guarantee that probably is true. Sophie Turner as Jean Grey. That would be interesting. Jean Grey versus the Phoenix versus Wanda. Scarlet Witch, who wins? Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger, a version of Black Panther. Okay, that does make sense. Really does make sense. We did actually say in yesterday's video talking about Black Panther 2 and who potentially the next Black Panther could be, that they could introduce the new Black Panther in Multiverse of Madness, and that could be a way to get around it. And it also goes on to say most of these aren't cameos and they will have sizable roles if it isn't long. Okay, I do believe that for the likes of Professor X and Sophie Turner, Jean Grey, and a few of them, but most of them will be cameos. Deadpool and his revolving cast will return for Deadpool 3 and will be brought back through the Multiverse of Madness with Ryan Reynolds having a cameo. We reported on that such a long time ago. Pretty obvious. Shuri will be the Queen of Wakanda, whilst M'Baku will be the new Black Panther. Shuri will try, but ultimately give it to M'Baku. Now, that's an interesting take because we literally did a video yesterday about the actor behind M'Baku getting a huge, hefty, freaking pay rise and a bigger role. Now, this is actually from a 4chan plot leak, so potentially this is back to what I was saying. Shang-Chi 2 will be much bigger and we'll see his team up with a few Avengers and maybe even Spider-Man. Okay, Shang-Chi freaking flopped. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't a bad movie. It just flopped at the cinema. It really did. All the Netflix characters and actors, including Finn Jones, will be kept, even if their storylines are changed. Now that literally goes against every insider saying, as we know, Charlie Cox is coming back. As we know, John is coming back for Punisher. Outside of that, we don't really know anything else. Echo will bring back all the Defenders. Daredevil will have a big role on the show, but the other three will be minor. That is freaking interesting. Fisk will build his empire throughout Echo and be a much more formidable opponent than he was shown appearing in Hawkeye. That is a cute tidbit. That is a cute tidbit. So the last on the list, the Runaways will make their way to the MCU, but will most likely be recast. Now, that's interesting, as one of the plot leaks I went over for Doctor Strange 2 actually did say the Runaways would appear in that. So yeah, I think today's video was pretty interesting. Some pretty interesting stories. We do know that World War Hulk is going to come out. We just don't know if what the information in this video said is true. But either way, guys, I'm just delivering the best stories I can find for you guys. You guys seeming to actually enjoy these kind of videos where I do a little bit of a longer video, but I go over much more than one topic. I know it was mainly focused around World Breaker Hulk, but I did add the tidbits right at the end, and we did go over quite a lot of stories there. I do find it interesting. The Killmonger is going to be Black Panther in Doctor Strange 2. That part was fascinating. The fact that Russell Crowe's Zeus keeps reappearing in a lot of different stories that I find. So like always, guys, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel out. Share, comment for the algorithm, like the video. It really does help us out. Check us out on Instagram at Warstu if you want to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. Also check us out on Twitter, WarstuG. I'm really trying to build a community over there, so get involved and follow me over there, please, guys. Thank you very much for spending a few moments of your day with me. If you've made it this far, hashtag Team Warstu, and I will catch you in another video, guys, very soon. Catch you later.